is BBC Sussex.
19 minutes to 7 o'clock this morning, and it's 3 years since the death of a man in a hit and run in Hassocks. His father's been telling BBC Sussex he's been frustrated in his quest for justice. 23-year-old Kalan Fletcher died when he was hit by a vehicle on the London Road while returning from a party. At the time, Sussex Police were hoping to question Imran Shaukat, who'd been living in Worthing, but it's believed he's now fled to Pakistan, and because failing to stop and report an accident would carry a maximum of 2 years in prison, then he can't be extradited to face trial. Now, Kalan's dad, Steve, thinks the issue should be taken far more seriously. Let's talk to Joseph Kotrie Monson, who's a director at the Mary Monson Solicitors, who specialise in extradition. Joseph, hi, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just to outline for us those rules on extradition and the level of sentences that you need to actually trigger the extradition.
Well, the general position, Neil, in relation to Pakistan is that extradition can occur, and it's my understanding, or certainly the police suspect that this person is now living in Pakistan, is that extradition can occur in situations where the wanted person has what's called a case to answer. Now, that basically means when there's some evidence of an offence. Now, it must also be the case that a minimum threshold of 1 year in prison is reached as the sentence for the offence before a person can even be extradited. And of course, this is to stop people being extradited for relatively minor offences.
Do you think this case could trigger an extradition?
I think the problem here is that the offence that the police would really like to investigate and the offence that the police would really want to look at is not actually failure to stop or failure to report, because even though this is a horrific set of background circumstances, that offence is a relatively minor one as far as motoring offences are concerned. The serious offence here would be death by careless driving, and the police are really hamstrung because they can't simply arrest this person, and because they've got enough evidence at least to effect an arrest, if not to charge them, they can't just arrest this person and question them about the standard of driving, whether the person had been drinking, anything like that, because of course the person's in another jurisdiction. The barrier is they don't have the evidence to effect a death by careless driving extradition, because there would have to be that case to answer. They would have to have some evidence, and my understanding from even the father of the victim in this case has said is that the evidence at the inquest, if I am to understand it correctly, and of course I'm not a lawyer in this case, if I'm to understand it correctly, that the evidence in this case is that there wasn't necessarily any obvious fault on the part of the driver in respect of the driving itself. Right.
The actual process of extradition, is that hard to pull off as well? If the crime is serious enough, is it a straightforward process, or are there pitfalls in it as well?
Very much depends on the jurisdiction. In Europe nowadays, especially in Western Europe, because we have such close links and good communication with the police in those countries, and we also have one of the benefits of the European Union, and actually one of the things that's essential when you have free movement of workers, is we have this European arrest warrant system, which basically means it's very easy to arrest somebody. As soon as someone flashes up on a computer, they're arrested if they're wanted, and they're brought over relatively quickly, and it's very hard to resist extradition. In other countries, which we don't have such close ties with, such as Pakistan, we have what's called extradition treaties. Now, it's not quite as simple as being wanted on a police database and you're brought over. There has to be a separate trial of issue in that other jurisdiction if the person resists extradition, and the basis of that trial of issue is that there must be a case to answer. There must be some evidence. They don't have to prove, the UK government would not have to prove their case out in Pakistan, but they'd have to show that there was some evidence that merited a prosecution.
Okay, Joseph, thanks very much indeed. That was really useful.